Sit down.
No, you
better sit down.
You keep your hands off me now.
You better sit down.
Hi, I'm Dinosaurs. Welcome to my video. Today I have for you a ridiculous story about two paleontologists who went from friends to enemies to engaging in a full-out war. Our players in this story are two fellows named O.C. Marsh and Edward Cope. It's 1863. Edward Cope, who was already a published scholar at 18, goes to Germany to study abroad, aka dodge being drafted into the Civil War. Here he meets grad student O.C. Marsh. These two become good friends, bonding over their shared interest in paleontology, and return to the US together a year later. They both quickly made discoveries, giving them that push they needed to be known in the field of paleontology, with Cope finding the Tyonius and Marsh finding the Mosasaurus. As they both begun to gain more success, this is when things started going downhill.
Wow, a new fossil quarry. I'm so excited for us to make scientific advancements here together. Yes, I will not try to steal it away from you. BRB. I have come to steal Edward Cope's scientific advancements. Send all of the fossils directly to me.
Cope quotes that this incident of Marsh going behind his back was the beginning of the end of their friendship. Though O.C. claims that the friendship was really over when he pointed out to Cope that he had mistakenly reversed the vertebrae on an Elasmosaurus, putting the skull on the tail. He says, "When I informed Professor Cope of it, his wounded vanity received a shock, from which it has never recovered, and he has ever since been my bitter enemy."
You're literally the stupidest man I've ever met. You put the head on the tail. Oh my god, that's so funny. Everybody's gonna make fun of you and say you have a small penis.
This is when the rivalry intensified. Marsh gave his full attention to retrieving as many fossils as he possibly could, constantly dreading that Cope would outdo him. He was so paranoid, in fact, that he sent spies to track Cope's progress, referring to Cope by the codename Jones. Cope, meanwhile, feeling pressured by this rivalry, rushed publications into academic journals. To ensure his work got recognized, he went as far as to purchase the American Nationalist Journal to publish his own work. O.C. Marsh was getting real nervous by this point, considering Cope had already published 76 academic papers. So, in 1882, he used his political connections to become chief paleontologist of the U.S. Geological Survey. With this power, he cut off Cope from government funding which they had both benefited from over the years. Because of this, Edward Cope lost everything, his job and his wife. All he had left was his fossil collection. And this is where O.C. Marsh made a huge whoopsie. He attempted to repossess Cope's fossils, claiming they had been collected using federal funding and thus belonged to the government. Cope fought back, presenting evidence that he had paid for almost all of his collection, and he won. Now he begins his rampage against Marsh. All these years, Cope had been collecting dirt on O.C., so he publicly accused Marsh and his allies in the Geological Survey of corruption, incompetence, and misuse of government funds. Congress got involved in the investigation and ruled to cut Marsh's funding, eliminating the Department of Paleontology along with most of his income. The last nail in the coffin was when the Smithsonian demanded that Marsh turn over a large part of his own fossil collection, some of which had, in fact, been collected with government funds. This petty feud between O.C. Marsh and Edward Cope was volatile, and ultimately damaged their own careers and lives. But from this rivalry, which historians have dubbed the Bone Wars, the foundation of paleontology was laid. Together they discovered over 130 new dinosaur species, the Triceratops, the Allosaurus, the Stegosaurus, and many, many more. So, thanks guys, I guess.
Fucking you, bloody! You bloody! Bastard bitch! Fuck you!
No, 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 no.